Who's lying?
Alright, listen, I'm not raising my voice. Alright, listen, I'm not raising my voice. Alright, listen, I'm not raising my voice.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cashapp or buying your girl a coffee. Hey y'all, I wanted to pop in here and have this conversation because this keeps coming up over and over and over again in my comment section, and I do want to address this head on. Whenever I post a video pointing out how Aba has manipulated his audience, how Aba has cut and spliced receipts together to make Libby look a certain way, one of the main reactions I get is, well, she lied. Well, she lied. I want you guys to really understand what the word lie means. When someone is lying, that means that they know what the truth is, but they're telling you something completely different because they want you to believe something that was not true.
Talked about this before, and he says stuff like this.
And he said stuff like this.
Talked about this before, and it was just like on top of the video games, on top of like me trying to just work with him and like be a good girlfriend and just hang out outside of the room so he can play his games. And then he says stuff like this. Talked about this before, and he says stuff like this.
And he said stuff like this.
Now, we should not conflate that with somebody recalling a traumatic event and not getting all the details 100% correct. This is something that has been studied. It is not a new concept. And I'm pretty sure that most of the people, obviously not the bots in the comments, but people who have been through different stressful, highly stressful situations, when you try to recall all of the details of that event, if you have experienced this, sometimes it's going to make those details very fuzzy. We see this very often with abuse victims. Women who have been physically, mentally, emotionally, men who have been physically, mentally, emotionally abused, oftentimes they struggle with recalling memories. So this is not some new phenomena, and it's not the same as telling a flat out lie. I'm gonna read this to you guys so that you fully understand what I'm talking about. Is this article, when you can't remember exactly what happened after a stressful situation. I want you guys to put yourself in Libby's shoes. She flew 9 hours to be with the man that has gotten her pregnant. He pays her dust for days, and then also brings up a conversation that he knows is triggering for her. And then she leaves, clears her head, comes back, and then he is arguing with her, not listening to her. And keep in mind, she's pregnant in a country that she doesn't live in. This would be a highly stressful situation, even if she weren't pregnant. Now tack on the fact that she's pregnant, her hormones are going all over the place, and she was neglected for days, and then came back to this man gaslighting her, basically saying, well, I don't want to hear anything you have to say, even though she's trying to communicate why she left. This would be a highly stressful situation. When you are in a highly stressful situation, cortisol levels spike, and that can really harm your ability to retain memories. So memory loss due to disassociation during an experience of direct aggression is a complex psychological phenomenon where the mind employs an extraordinary self-protection mechanism. It occurs when a person encounters an overwhelming or traumatic event such as physical or verbal aggression. Listen to his recording. He was verbally aggressive toward her.
Hey, I booked it.
No,
What do you mean no? You're gonna stay at my place? I already booked the hotel.
just cancel it.
I'm not canceling it. You need to go. You want to leave? You leave. Hey, get up out of here. I told you quit on me again.
How is that me quitting?
Alright, listen, I'm not raising my voice. You're not letting me yell. I just want you to leave. I just want you gone.
And their mind protects itself by disconnecting from the reality of the situation. This disconnection can lead to gaps in memory or even complete amnesia for the event. I want you guys to stop removing the humanity from Libby. Stop removing her humanity. She's recalling events that were traumatic for her, very stressful for her, and her recollection might not be 100%, but that is not the same as lying. Lying means you knew exactly what happened and you chose not to say what was true. Even when the details come out, it's not like she's doubling down on it the way Aba has with splicing up her clip and leaving out that he was ignoring her playing video games for all that time. That would be a direct lie. Whereas with Libby, I think what's happening with her is that she went through something traumatic and she's trying to recall these events. Fragmented memory encoding. During disassociation, the normal process of encoding memories in the brain can be disrupted. The brain might not process the event in a linear or coherent way, leading to fragmented or incomplete memories. These fragments can be disjointed, with some details missing or distorted. Stress hormones. High levels of stress hormones like cortisol are released during traumatic events. While these hormones are meant to help the body cope with stress, they can also impair the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for creating and retrieving memories. This can lead to difficulty in recalling details of the event later on. So I don't think that Libby is just flat out lying to everybody. Because one, she didn't try to hide the fact that she was telling Aba that she would send things to Myron. She didn't try to hide that. And not only that, she had an opportunity with me to say Aba was calling her a bitch. As I was combing through the footage yesterday for the video, I heard a clip from that recording that Aba shared, and to me, it sounded like he called her a bitch.
All right, listen, I'm not raising my voice.
And I was gonna include that in the video. I was like, this sounds like he's over here calling this pregnant woman a bitch. Looking for clarity, I asked her, and I'm gonna show the messages here. I asked her, hey, did he ever call you a bitch? Like, is this something that he called you? And she told me, I don't remember him calling me a bitch. And then I sent her the audio, okay? I sent her the audio that I found where it sounds very much so like he's calling her a bitch, contextually and then also sonically. She listened to it and she said, oh yes, no, he doesn't call me bitch. So she had the opportunity, because it sounds like he said it. Most people listening to it will say that, yeah, it sounds like he called you a bitch. She could have ran with that and said, yes, he called me a bitch, just to make him look even worse. Even worse. But no, she clarified and says he's not calling me a bitch there, even though it sounds like it. And I'll play that clip for you a couple times so you can hear what I was hearing.
All right, listen, I'm not raising my voice. All right, listen, I'm not raising my voice. All right, listen, I'm not raising my voice.
I'm trying to explain to you guys, I don't think she's flat out lying about events. I think that she went through something very traumatic, and with the high levels of stress that she was feeling, not just with the event itself, but also with going through a pregnancy, I honestly don't think that she's just flat out lying. I really don't. Even with Aba's recount of what happened in Montreal, he's still a dirtbag. The details that she didn't remember 100% don't really change much for me, because what led up to the point of her leaving that apartment after he kicked her out was still wild as hell. Regardless of whatever is said after the fact, that doesn't change what happened prior, which is what he caught on his receipt himself. His receipt itself shows the gaslighting. It shows the unwillingness to communicate. It shows the aggressiveness. You don't have to scream to be very aggressive. I hope you guys realize that. That is a technique that a lot of manipulators and abusers use, is that they will not scream at you, and they will use that as a way to say, see, I'm not screaming at you. I'm calm.
No.
Hey, I booked it.
No.
What do you mean no? You're gonna stay at my place? I already booked the hotel.
Just cancel it.
I'm not canceling it. You need to go. You want to leave? You leave. Hey, get up out of here. I told you quit on me again.
How is that me quitting?
All right, listen, I'm not raising my voice. You're not gonna let me go. I just want you to leave.
I did my own research on what hormones and pregnancies do to a woman, and your boy learned some things. She's carrying my kid. If I stress her out, it may result in a miscarriage. If I make her feel alienated, it might push her toward abortion. All I can do right now for the health of the child and for her health as well is to be supportive. That's all I can really do.
Leave. You need to go. Get up out of here. I just want you gone. I don't want you in my house no more. You need to go. You're leaving. Definitely not staying in my house tonight. You're leaving, 100%. Don't make me call the cops.
When she gets upset, I just give her space. So that's what she needs. So that's how we settle things up. I respect it.
I want you guys to notice how he brings up that he didn't raise his voice out of nowhere. She, at that point, if you listen closely, she hasn't said, why are you yelling at me? Stop yelling at me. Why are you raising your voice? She didn't say anything like that. So he gave that unwarranted. People like this will talk to you crazy as hell, and then they'll fall back on, well, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not raising my voice, even though they're being hella aggressive with their tone. And y'all are not going to gaslight me in the comment section about this, because I have dealt with people who behave exactly like that. They don't have to yell in order to have an aggressive tone. Talk to you without screaming. Tone will be extremely aggressive, cut you off, and it's gonna give you the same feeling as if someone is screaming at you. But they do that on purpose. They do that on purpose so they can say, well, see, I'm not screaming at you. Because when you address their tone and you address how they're talking to you, they'll say, well, I'm not screaming. And we hear him say that in the clip. I'm not screaming at you. As if that's the only way you could talk to somebody crazy as hell. Screaming isn't the only way that you could speak to somebody in a way that is very aggressive. Stop trying to remove Libby's humanity. Actually look at this for what it is. It's a woman who went through a traumatic event while she was pregnant, and she's trying to recall the details as best she can. And when the details came out, it's not like she doubled down like Aba. She didn't double down. She said, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. That aligns better. Stop getting in my comment section talking about how she's a liar, she's this, she's that. No, she's a traumatized woman trying to recall memories that are painful. And I'm not going to remove her humanity from this situation because despite everything that's happened, she made sure she clarified for me that he did not call her a bitch, even though the audio sounds very much so like he did.
All right, listen, I'm not raising my voice.
She could have, if she was such a liar, she would have said, yeah, he called me a bitch. And he would say that to me often. But if she was really, truly trying to come out here and just slander this man and lie and just lie, understand she would have saw that opportunity because in that audio, it does sound like he's calling her a bitch and she would have ran with it. But that's not what she did. But y'all, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. If you like the video, like the video. The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out into the algorithm. Also, hype the video if that's for you. Okay, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces. I just want to give a quick shout out to my first ambassador. Shout out to Nefertiti. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to sign up for memberships or sign up to be an ambassador as well to receive a shout out, the link will be in the description down below.